Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Dr. T Spills the Tea. The topic today is sunscreen, which is of course very near and dear to my heart. As a dermatologist and as a surgeon who's cutting out cancers of the skin throughout my career, I have to say one thing: it becomes so important to reinforce the importance of sunscreen with my patients every day, whether it's my cosmetic patients who want to look younger and amazing, and my cancer patients who unfortunately have to go through having things cut out and put together again, and they always have that one regret. What could I have done to make sure I did not have this cancer? Now, of course, we can't be sure to prevent cancers, but we can do certain things under our control, and whatever you could control, make sure you control, and that's sunscreen. Now, the basic premise of sunscreen is you want to make sure you use a sunscreen that has a broad spectrum coverage. So that means UVA and UVB. Now, unfortunately, a high SPF number doesn't impress me because SPF is just a reflection of a lab measure of how much UVB protection there is. So an SPF of 100 can theoretically have 0 UVA protection. So I like to remind people UVA ages UVB, gives you burns, and thankfully we have something called the ozone layer that prevents that UVC from getting to us because UVC is highly carcinogenic. Now, one of my best reference points that I bring up to my patients, and it's like you're with me in my consultations, is to talk about a very famous picture from the New England Journal of Medicine. Now, what's super duper interesting about this picture is you can actually tell that this person probably did not have a lot of sun exposure because the non-driver side of this truck driver's face was almost perfect. It is smooth, it is pristine. But then the driver's side of this person's face is absolutely different. You would not even believe it's the same person. The other impact of sun that I think is the greatest motivator for all of you to do something for yourself is it ages you prematurely. So in certain parts of the world, especially in Asia, you know, it's unusual for us to see in North America or in Europe people who would walk around with umbrellas on a hot sunny day. But in fact, that's the norm, because one thing that they really want to prevent and avoid in Asian skin is sunspots and lentigos. Now, that's something that's quick to accumulate in certain skin types. The fairer you are, if you got red hair, if you got blue eyes, if you're freckly to begin with, those come back really quickly. Now, sure, you have the benefit of winter where some of your freckles will fade, but eventually your body gets sick and tired of taking freckles away, and those freckles that don't fade are called lentigos or sunspots or liver spots, a million different names. In the end, they're just spots nobody wants. So make sure you're using your sunscreen. Make sure you're reapplying if you're sweating or if you're doing any kind of sports or you're jumping into the water. Make sure beyond all else, you never allow yourself to get a blistering sunburn, because that becomes a risk factor for melanoma, basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, precancerous changes like actinic keratosis. And my last take-home point for all of you guys is to remember one thing. No matter what you do for your skin, no matter how little you do for your skin, no matter how much you do for your skin, unless sunscreen is a part of it, you're not doing anything for your skin. So sunscreen, number one, first and foremost, and then the rest is all cherry on top. So take care of yourself, take care of your skin, make sure you use your sunscreens, make sure you're using zinc titanium physical sunscreens, make sure you're in touch with a dermatologist or a skincare specialist who knows what they're talking about when it comes to preventing age and sun damage. Thanks very much for joining us on this episode of Dr. T Spills the Tea.